to the last day of getting to self-actualization series. Oh my goodness. Today is the last day. Today is day 28 of the Getting to Self-Actualization series. And y'all know how I know? Because see, I had lost count. Okay? I had lost count. So I had to go back and number everything. And so I thought that this series ends on the last day of this week. I don't know when you're catching this, but I'm recording this on a Thursday. And I thought that the last day was going to be Friday. I thought I had time to just write with my absence, with my vacation and everything, that I would end it on a Friday. But I miscount because I think I did a Sunday and I shouldn't have done one of the Sundays, and that put me off. But nevertheless, it's okay because I still got something for you guys tomorrow. But listen, welcome to the 28th day of Getting to Self-Actualization, the series. This has been truly, truly amazing. Oh my God, yeah, I feel a sneeze coming on. It might come, I don't know. I feel it coming on. Okay. This thing has been amazing. The beautiful thing about this series is that although there are 28 lessons in it, you do not have to watch the lessons in order to get what it is that you need to get from each of the lessons. They are totally they're dependent of their own. Like other words, they can sustain each episode. All 28 episodes can sustain themselves by themselves. They are independent on their own. Okay. This has been amazing. And if you guys do not know what getting to self-actualization is or self-actualization, then please, by all means, go back at least to lesson one. Then that way you can get the introduction. But this is the step in your life where you are living in your purpose, you living in your truth, you're living in all the things that you know that you are supposed to be living in. You've reached the stage of problem solving. You've reached the stage of everything in your life is good. This isn't to say that things don't come up, that, there won't be situations that arise. Nothing, y'all know that. No, nothing is perfect in life. I thought I had my phone on silent. Nothing is perfect in life. Nothing is set in stone, right? We're gonna always have situations. We're gonna always have circumstances. We're gonna always have things in which we have to deal with on a daily basis. However, how you deal with each one of those situations is what's important. Because some people can take some things in life, a life lesson, and they can use it as fuel, as ammo, as what they need to help them, to give them that mudge, to motivate them in order to get to that next level, right? Then you have some people that don't know what to do with it, and then you have some people that let them break them, right? Let the things that they go through break them. You get to choose how you handle each situation in your life, how you use each situation in your life, and how you see how each situation is connected. And I say this often: if everyone takes the time to look at their lives, and I mean, I know it's hard sometimes. I know sometimes we get lost in the emotional part of it. Sometimes we, like the old people used to say, sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees because we all we see is what we're going through. But if you look at your life and see how things happen, you will know, and you will be able to recognize the patterns. You will be able to recognize the things that are connected to each other, the things that happen, and say, you know what, these things prepared me for this, right? Now, I'm not saying that all things that happen in your life are meant to happen in a way where it teaches you certain stuff, because there's some things that happen in people's lives, myself included, that should never happen. Let's be clear there. There's some things that happen in people's lives that should never happen. However, when those things do happen, we have to figure out a way to go on with those things. We have to figure out a way to understand the purpose, right? And sometimes we won't see it. Sometimes we won't understand it. We're going to still rebut it. We're going to still rebuke it. We're going to still do all the things. But each lesson causes you to be a little bit more resilient, a little bit more stronger, a little bit more problematic or problem solving, where you can solve and problem solve, and you are living in your purpose. And when you're able to get there and understand that, my friend, this is what we call self-actualization. Maslow's hierarchy, the highest of the highest hierarchy of needs for Maslow. And today, we are talking about the version of me ain't up for negotiation. This is this version of you, the person who has sat and listened to me for 28 days, who have gone through each episode, each segment, right? Each understanding and said, you know what? How do I take this lesson and apply it to my life? And the beautiful thing about each one of the lessons in each of these things, they're not a one and done, right? YouTube will be around a long time. You can come back here on Hood Parenting on YouTube and watch these videos as long as they are on this platform, because this is something that you will forever need in your life, and I will forever be adding more videos to this, right? They may not necessarily be in the getting to self-actualization series, but they will definitely be a part of your life, that you understand that when it comes to Maslow's hierarchy of need, these are subcategories to this. So everything that I talk about, because I am a self-actualization coach, a life strategist, if I have not said that. And so everything I talk about is preparing you for your better self tomorrow, right? Because every day you aim to get better than you are today. So tomorrow, I want to be better than I am today, right? And I'm not saying the whole 360 yashika. It might be a part of me that's better. My skin might be clear. My thoughts might be clear. Something that I may have been thinking about or grieving may have passed. Okay, maybe I've lost a pound. Maybe I've read a book or finished a new book. Maybe I learned a life lesson that I didn't know. Maybe I heard a motivation that I hadn't heard before. Maybe I heard someone say something. Maybe someone inspired me and said some things to me that I never heard before. So all those things causes me to be better tomorrow than I was yesterday, or better tomorrow than I am today, right? Or better today than I was yesterday. And this is the version of you that is not up for negotiation. That version that's better, that gets better and better every day. Okay. Now you've done the work and you set with your truth. You've made peace with your past. And now this is the version of you that you are choosing to protect. And it is not up for negotiation. So let's take a moment to celebrate these 28 days. Okay. In these 28 days, you have faced yourself in the mirror. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything, you guys. My iPad and went to sleep, and let me awaken it back up to make sure I'm not missing anything. There we go. Okay. These 28 days, you have stared yourself in the mirror. You've talked to yourself. You faced yourself. You've put the mirror right here in your face, honey, in your face. Okay. You've challenged your patterns. You've asked yourself, the things that I believe or the things that I'm holding on to, are there mine, or are there things that I've picked up along the way that I don't agree with? Don't even know why I'm holding on to it. Don't even know why I'm choosing this thing for my life, but for whatever reason, I do. And this pattern isn't mine. It belongs to somebody else. And so I'm going to give it back to them because I choose not to have this. Because y'all know those things that we hear, those things that we believe that's ours. You know, let me tell you something someone said to me. Um, and it was like they said it and I almost believed it. And it wasn't anything major. And so when we think about life and things like that, now here's the thing. I never had a lot of plants in my life. Okay. Now let me back up. When I was in Germany back in the 90s, you would go to like the German little stands and stuff in Germany, and you can buy beautiful plants for like nothing. And so I remember when, I want to say it was probably my first plant. I can't remember if I had one before then, but I remember this one as, distinctly this particular plant. So while I was in Germany, I had got this. Now I don't even know what kind of plant it was, because again, I was 20, 21, 22, something like that. But it was one of them plants that grow long, right? That grows and curls around your house. So I had got this plant to grow really long, to the point where it was curving around my wall, and I had it like Like back then I had like etages and we had things like that in the house, and shrunks, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with German shrunks, but they're wall units. So anyway, I would put this flower on this plant holder, right? It was three of them, and I had this one particular, because it was like a three-tier plant holder. And this one particular one, I had it sitting in the middle, but the plant would grow long. Okay, it would grow long. Well, when I got ready to leave Germany in '96, of course, I could not take the plant with me. I was flying on the plane back home. And then on top of that, it couldn't go in my household goods. It would die before I got my stuff. So I gave the plant away to neighbors. Now, once I got to the States, I didn't really do a lot of planting. I didn't do a lot of plants. So fast forward, I recall a time or two where I may have had a plant here or a plant there, but for the most part, because of my life, I really didn't, I really wasn't a plant lover. But somewhere up in there, I guess I must have had plants where someone that I knew about me having plants at some point. And the two or three plants that I have had in my life, I would always like, time will go by and they will be stored somewhere. This is up until 2 years ago. They will be stored somewhere and I will forget about the plants. All right. And I had one plant that I had in my job, which was a bamboo plant. And you don't really have to do much to them to live. They live forever whether you water them a lot. Well, anyway, this person would say, Yashika can't grow plants. She kills all the plants she get. And so I started believing that. I started believing, well, you know what? Maybe I should buy a plant because I ain't gonna do nothing but kill it. Okay. And I say this story because I actually thought that about myself. And I was like, I do kill plants. But so what? Right? So what? I mean, do you want to keep them alive? Yes. They're not human, they're things, okay? So the 3 or 4 plants that I have had prior to now, I did kill them. They would die because I would get caught up and I would leave for months. Like I was in the military, so I didn't really care about a plant like that. Like I wasn't a plant person. Okay. So I didn't really focus on nurturing a plant like I know now. But I adopted what that person said about me as if it was true. And I didn't understand it. And it was not until, I kid you not, it was not until a couple days ago where I was actually shopping for a new plant, because I have this whole section downstairs in my house where it's nothing but plants, right? It's not a lot, but it's enough, maybe about 10. And I was like, I want a floor plant. I want a big floor plant. So I literally went out to the store the other day and I bought myself 2 new floor plants. And it wasn't until that moment that I was, because every time I buy a plant, I would think about that. Like, oh my God, I hope I don't kill this plant. But it was not until that moment that I was purchasing that plant the other day, those plants the other day, that I thought about, why did I adopt that idea that I wasn't good at plants because of the ones in the past that have died. I'm not at home. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses about it, because we got things now you can keep plants alive. And I'm aware of those things now. You put the bulbs in there and then waters them. Like there's things now where we don't even have to be at home with the plants. So now I'm more educated on them. And there's things that I can actually use to help me maintain the plants. Now, last year, did I leave my plants outside too long and they died? I did. I did. So that's why I went out and bought some more, because I'm determined to keep my plants alive. I'm determined to keep my plants alive. I want to see them grow. I want to see them blossom. I have the time, I have the knowledge, I have the understanding, and I have the things that I need now in order to keep my plants alive. That's what I believe about myself. So I know that I can keep my plants alive. People kill plants all the time. I'm not unique to that. It's not just Yashika. So why did I allow that person to say that about me and I adopted that as my idea? Okay. So I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my truth, not no one else. This is what we do in these 28 days of self-actualization. Okay. You looked yourself in the mirror, you challenged your patterns, and you reclaimed your voice. You reclaimed your yes and your no. And you recognize that both of them are complete sentences and you don't have to explain either one. Self actualization is not about being perfect, it's about being honest and being intentional. Self actualization is about being honest and being intentional, purpose driven, problem solving driven, right? Not you bring problems. You actually are a problem solver. Okay. So today you get to own that. You get to own that you are a person that is honest and intentional because you are self-actualized. You cannot be those things. You cannot not be honest and intentional and then be self-actualized. They don't go together. Okay. You don't have to explain your life. You don't have to explain what you say to people. You get to own everything you want to own. This is the part of you that is non-negotiable. This is the version of you that is non-negotiable. Protect your new standards. Now that you are here and these 28 days have been completed, protect your standard. Whatever you've learned from this particular series, I know that it made you think about things differently and look at life differently. So now that you are here, the version of you knows peace is not optional. Peace is not optional. Boundaries are necessary. Let me say that again. Peace is not optional and boundaries are necessary. Alignment is your assignment and you don't need permission to be whole. So this is how you protect your new standard of living. Peace is not optional. Boundaries are necessary. Alignment is the assignment and you don't need permission to be whole. You just are. And if you aren't, you get there. It's up to you to get there. No one's coming to save you. No one. Trust me when I tell you, no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. I don't care if you have a beautiful relationship. I don't care if you have all the things in life that we all hope and pray for in terms of what perfect looks like for us. At the end of the day, you still have to save yourself. No one's coming to save you. So, in order for you to do that, you have to be these things. You have to know that peace is not optional. You have to know that boundaries are important and necessary. You have to know that your alignment is the assignment in order to get to your purpose in self-actualization. You have to know that you do not need permission to be whole. You have to know that yes and no are complete sentences and you do not need to explain either. This is your life, not no one else's. You remember that because I think sometimes people forget this is your life. People might not recognize this new version of you. That's fine. That's not your business. That's theirs. Okay. Okay. You didn't do all this work just to go back to performing. Because, see, when you're living somebody else's life, when you're living somebody else's truth, when you're living somebody else's ideas or patterns or whatever you're doing, you're performing. You're performing. You're performing for what you believe is acceptable in today's world or in your life or in your family or in your home or wherever, in your job, at your church, at your whatever. When you're not walking in your authentic truth, right? And you're performing, that's what you're doing. You're living for somebody else. So today I need you to practice some things as we wrap up this 28th day. Now, most days I gave you little things to think about. Some days I gave you homework, but today I need you to do this homework for sure. So I need you to write down 3 standards you are no longer in your lowering yourself for anyone. 3 standards. 3 standards. Like for me, I own the fact that I love nurturing things, animals, people, plants. Okay. Animals, people, animals, plants, people, animals, in or any order. Anything that is living, I love nurturing. I love seeing about it. I love caring about it, to include plants. All things that lives eventually dies. So if by chance in the past I've killed the plant, then I've killed the plant. Then I get a new one. That's it. That's all. I don't know too many people in life that ain't never killed the plant. Okay. So you remember that. So this version of you, this person that I am that loves plants and take it upon myself to go and buy them, that's the person I want to be. Because see, a plant lover is somebody that loves nature, somebody that nurtures things, somebody that pours into something, right? Something that take care of something other than yourself. You love on something other than yourself. Each one of my plants have a name. Each one of my plants are somebody from my family that has transitioned. Each one of my plants are. And so for me, right, I will continue to nurture them and talk to them. Okay? Because that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be. Not what somebody else tell me that I am. It's who I say I am. So you practice these things today. Write down 3 standards you are no longer lowering yourself from when it comes to anyone. Say them out loud. Speak them with your chest. When you say these things that you're no longer doing, say them out loud, write them down, stand in the mirror and speak them with your chest. Again, this is your life. Examples. Here are some examples if you feel like you don't know something to write down. I no longer explain my boundaries. I no longer explain my boundaries. I don't chase love. I attract aligned connections. I refuse to shrink in any room that can't hold me. Those are things that you like. If you're unsure about what to write down, those are some examples of things that you can write down. Okay. Now, time to integrate what you've done. How do you integrate it? Integration is the real work when it comes to self-actualization. Taking everything that you've learned and integrate it. This is just not about knowing better. This is about living what you've learned now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. This version of you isn't hype, it's healed. Integration means these things: moving differently, choosing from alignment, saying no quicker, and holding your own hand even when nobody else gets it. I remember like that on Facebook about a year and a half ago when I was talking about dating. Okay. What I said was, I don't need anyone to come and save me. What I need is someone to hold my hand. You know, sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand. That's it. And say, hey, honey, I got you. I know you got yourself, because it's up to you, right? I'm not going to save you, but I'm going to hold your hand. And that's support. Okay. So that's what integration means: moving differently, choosing from alignments, saying no quicker, not even thinking about, nope, not doing it, nope, and holding your own hand even when nobody else gets it. Because sometimes, many a times, that's what I've had to do. So yeah, I want somebody to hold my hand, but I know that most of my 52 years of living, I've had to hold my own hand. And as I continue to live, it's going to be that way. Now, will I be blessed? Will I continue to be blessed and fortunate that I will have people to hold my hand? Absolutely, along the way. But for the most part, yeah. This version of you isn't temporary. It can't be. It can't be temporary. In order to get to self-actualization, you have to always, always, always be better than what you were yesterday. We don't get to a point in our lives and we say we've learned enough. Ever. Don't ever get to a point in your life and you say, I've learned enough. There's nothing else I need to know. Don't ever get that. Okay. So this version of you is not temporary. It's true. And you deserve to lead now. So as we wrap up this Getting to Self-Actualization series, this day 28, know this. This is the version of you that you have fought for. This is the version of you that you have cried for. This is the version of you that has waited on God. All right. This is a version of you that you have waited on God for. And now that you're here, it ain't for negotiation. It is not up for negotiation. Okay. That's what you need to know. So this series has been amazing. I put this series together as I was wrapping up, as I wrapped up something that I did about a month and a half ago. And I knew that this series was going to be something that was going to be needed worldwide. Not just for my few people that I have here on YouTube or only in my social platforms or any of my social platforms, but worldwide. Literally, this getting to self-actualization is something that's needed worldwide. People, what I recognize about us sometimes is that we don't know what we don't know. And we don't know that we are living sometimes in other people's truth. We're not aware that what we do sometimes, we're carrying other people's baggages, other people's trauma, other people's unalignment, right? Other people's thoughts, other people's things that's not ours. And because of it, sometimes it leaves us in despair. It leaves us out of alignment. It leaves us trying to figure out who we are. Getting to self-actualization is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that, and when I hear, and when people say the word self-actualization, when I hear it, most people don't even understand the meaning of it. But I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible. Getting to that part in your life where you know what you were put here for, you know your purpose, you know your place in this world. When you understand your place in this world, you'll know you'll better understand what your purpose is. And I'm going to say this. What I know to be true is this. I am the first grandchild of my paternal grandparents, right? I am the first grandchild of my maternal grandparents as well. I'm the first child of my mother's, right? I say this because that's who I am. And so because I am the first of many, and I can go on, but that was my first. That is my first understanding of who I was, knowing that I am the first grandchild between Elmira and Felix Alford, which is my mother's parents, and Ernestine and Edwin Foster, which is my father's parents. I'm the first grandchild. I am where my two families meet. I am the X, I am the 10. My birthday is March 10th, 1973. 3101973. 310 10 10. Completion. Okay? That's what I know. And so because I know that that is my place in this world, which means that I get to do everything from that area. Being the first of things, or even if you just know what you are or who you are, just in the matter of, my name is Yashika. My name is unique. I am the first one born with that name spelled that way in 1973. Okay? When I think about the things like that that makes me unique, those things align me with my purpose. Everybody has those things about them that only you get to claim. Only you get to claim. Those are the things that align with your purpose. The way I look, my face, everything about me is unique about me. So how do I use these things for my purpose? How do I use these things for the purpose that God put me here for? Not for my purpose, but for the purpose of everybody. How do I use these things in purpose? How do I use these things in purpose? Right? This is the version of yourself that you have fought for. I know I have. This is the version of myself that I have cried for. Oh God, have I cried? I've cried a lot of tears for this version of me. Right? When you come from a world where you have to find your own, you have to figure out your life on your own, right? You don't have much in terms of what right looks like. So you have to go out there and you have to figure it out. And you have to figure out for yourself, because only you know what it is you're supposed to do. And there's hints along the way. Trust me, there's hints along the way. They call those rams in the bushes. Call them rams in the bush. But this part of you right here is non-negotiable. You go out and you live your best life. These 28 days of self-actualization is reminding you of your gift, reminding you who you are, reminding you of your purpose, reminding you of your truth, and reminding you of why you were put here. So go out and conquer the world, because trust me, if you don't do it, it's going to conquer you. Go and take what you want. Do it the right way. Do it the right way. And come back here every now and then to this particular series if you need a little help every now and then. But with that being said, If by chance you said, you know what, I didn't realize I needed a little bit of sunshine and glitter in my life. I've been watching Yashika over there on Hood Parenting on YouTube, and I recognize that I need her in my life because I need sprinkles of sunshine and glitter in my life every day. If that is you and you are looking for a self-actualization or a life strategist, or even some intuitive readings, you let me know. My stand store is up and running. You can DM me, or you can go ahead and click the link and make an appointment and a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation discovery call to check me out. And you're going to say, you know what? I didn't know I needed sprinkles of sunshine and glitter in my life. You're going to say it. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to say it. So listen, this has been amazing. This series has been everything. And if you can do me a kind favor and be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know if you got anything from any of these episodes, or tell me I should go back to the drawing board. Whatever you need to do, let me know below. And be sure to share this with somebody who you think might need to hear these messages. And I will see you guys in the next series. Listen, the next series starts August the 4th, and that is The Art of Transformation. And if you love this series, you're going to love The Art of Transformation, because that one right there, honey, that one right there is the one that you didn't know you needed. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.